Buster is a sensitive high school student, seemingly happy with his fiancée Margie, until he meets Billie from the other side of the tracks, his life changing forever thereafter. The forceful, potent world of Buster and Billie awaits. Hello, I'm Ethan Janakis, founder of the Cinematic Revelations movie review and interview blog, and welcome to my Cinematic Revelations podcast. This is a podcast for those seeking more depth out of their cinematic experience, to separate the filmic wheat from the chaff, and to bring notice to those films which deserve reappraisal. Today I will be spotlighting Daniel Petrie's 1974 movie, Buster and Billie, starring Jan-Michael Vincent, Joan Goodfellow, Pamela Sue Martin, and Robert Englund. Buster and Billie is about Buster Lane, Greenwood High School, Georgia's handsomest and most popular student, who leaves fiancée Margie Hooks when he falls in love with town pariah Billie Joe Trueluck, but their love affair ends in tragedy. Within a film history context, the early 1970s brought forth a filmic revival of nostalgia for past eras in American history. The trend began with Peter Bogdanovich's splendid The Last Picture Show, 1971, and most notably continued with George Lucas's American Graffiti, 1973. Buster and Billie can be seen as a continuation of this focus on nostalgia, taking place in 1948 Georgia, with The Last Picture Show set in 1951 Anaheim, Texas, with 1962 California showcased in American Graffiti. Overview. Over the course of his career, Daniel Petrie directed a variety of films, dealing with issues such as racism in A Raisin in the Sun, 1961, the character study of a lifeguard in Lifeguard, 1976, and that of a police officer in Fort Apache, the Bronx, 1981. He treated his characters with understanding and sympathy, and invited audiences to do likewise. In Buster and Billie, Ron Tuberville's screenplay deftly explores themes such as coming of age, discrimination, immorality, family ties, and sexual repression in 1948 Georgia, based upon a real-life incident from his hometown. Daniel Petrie presents his characters as flawed, realistic people, which in this particular film plays out with great conviction. No one changes character in the film to fit a circumstance, which is refreshing to witness. Buster and Billie is a picture that runs the gamut from drama, comic moments, romance and tragedy, but is not light viewing. Be prepared for something that touches the mind and heart, with some ferocity, but without undue sentimentality. Acting. The acting is uniformly excellent, and there is not a false note anywhere in this film. There is a large supporting cast, but they ably support the leads. Years before her role as Feisty Fallon on nighttime serial Dynasty, Pamela Sue Martin as Margie suggests that there is much more beneath the surface to her supposed wallflower character, which makes her an interesting match to Jan-Michael Vincent's Buster in the first part of the film. Robert Englund, later famous as Freddy Krueger in the A Nightmare on Elm Street film franchise, is lively and intuitive as Buster's friend Whitey. My favourite acting performances, though, were by Jan-Michael Vincent and Joan Goodfellow. Jan-Michael Vincent portrays Buster as a strong, sensitive young man who has a bit of a devilish streak, as witnessed by his tenuous relationship with the school bus driver. Buster is immediately positioned in comparison to his school friends as the good young man with some shades of grey. He is curious how his school friends see Billie as just a means to an end, but does nothing to find out more about her. Buster steers away from Billie in the beginning as he is seemingly happy with fiancée Margie, but Margie's reluctance in a certain area is the impetus for him to meet Billie. At first, he sees Billie as just a sexual quick fix, but something unexpected and deeper develops between them, which also brings a change in Billie's character. Jan-Michael Vincent's charming, solid performance and chemistry with Joan Goodfellow is the centerpiece of the film, containing its best moments. Joan Goodfellow's Billie is perfectly matched with Jan-Michael Vincent's Buster in this film, making his engagement to Margie seem like a sideline after the film is finished. When we first meet Billie, she is being used by Buster's friends for their gratification, but the character is not shown as enjoying this, biting her lips and walking away dejectedly after another one of these sessions. Billie is at first a character who speaks in a low voice, but Buster brings out her voice in a manner of speaking and her personality into the light for the first time. Joan Goodfellow underplays her role, which makes the transition between her first incarnation and second all the more startling and heartbreaking. Soundtrack. The use of Billie's theme by Hoyt Axton is employed throughout the movie in various capacities depending upon the scene. A moving and emotional song, it perfectly complements the action without ever becoming tedious. It is used to most effect at the beginning of the film, during the credits, and at the end. When one first sees the movie and hears the song, it is beautiful but does not make sense until the film starts moving and is most poignant in the final scenes. The film also utilizes period songs to evoke the atmosphere of 1940s Georgia, such as in the dance scene featuring country music singers Claude Casey and Slim Mims, and in the pool hall sequences. Mise en scène. The cinematography beautifully captures the Georgia landscape, with its farms, fields, and other buildings featured, which give the film an aura of authenticity that could not be duplicated in a studio. The bus driver's dusty window is one of many small but significant touches that the film presents, which bring verisimilitude to the film. Another striking scene is the schoolhouse wall, which is filled with graffiti, which provides a revealing and important narrative insight into the characters and their activities for viewers. There are also symbolic comparisons made between the various family homes in the movie that speak volumes of the characters in a non-verbal manner. The Lane and Hooks family homes are cozy, with a nice airy atmosphere, comfortable furniture, and friendly parents. The Trueluck home resembles more of a stable than a home, with badly dressed, abrupt parents, various clothing pieces hanging on the wall instead of pictures or ornaments, and an unkempt table at the entrance. This points to a downbeat ambiance, but also serves to establish Billie's home life and upbringing by unsuitable parents, therefore increasing understanding about the characters' motivations and actions. Notable acting performances, in my opinion, were by Jan-Michael Vincent, Joan Goodfellow, Pamela Sue Martin, and Robert Englund. Is the film suitable for young viewers? No, as there is low-level coarse language, male and female nudity, adult themes, and high-level violence. I award Buster and Billie an A grade, as it is a haunting, memorable movie. I hope that you have enjoyed my look into the world of Buster and Billie. In the next podcast, Richard Compton's powerful 1971 movie, Welcome Home, Soldier Boys, starring Joe Don Baker, Paul Koslow, Elliot Street, and Alan Vint, will be dissected. You've been listening to the Cinematic Revelations podcast. I'm your host and producer, Ethan Janakis. If you like what you heard, please leave us a good review and subscribe wherever you listen. For more, be sure to visit my blog at cinematicrevelations.blogspot.com. Until next time, stay well, stay safe, and happy cinematic travels.
Hey, I'm DC. I host a radio show on multiple genres. There's rock, there's metal, there is country, and I talk to the artists, and I take those interviews from the radio, and I put them into a podcast, which is called Behind the Rock with DC. Check it out, Behind the Rock with DC, a podcast that brings you a little bit closer to the bands, a little bit closer to the artists. Please subscribe to the podcast today.
Electricast.